This goes through my phone, so
Okay.
if I get a phone call, we could get knocked off, and then I have to come back to you.
Okay. I apologize. I won't let that happen again. If you get knocked off, I'll know what happened. Um, so Bob, tell me a little bit about you. How'd you get involved with ventriloquism?
You know, I remember way back when I was a little kid, and I loved puppets, and I had a bunch of them. But the first one I ever had was this friend of my grandma's made me a sock puppet that was like striped, and it was the mouth was all sewn in, and it had little yarn things on top. And I used to wear that all the time and talk to it and with it and everything. And they said, you know what? When you grow up, you're going to be a ventriloquist. And I had no idea what that meant. That's a big word. But enough people tell you that, I think that's what happens. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get to be a ventriloquist till I was like 20, where a lot of people started way back. I mean, I had a ton of puppets and did puppet shows and everything when I was a kid. But yeah, I didn't do it till after I was in my 20s. I was part of a comedy team, and when my partner came back to Pittsburgh, because he was wrapped up with his family and had to do stuff with his family, I thought he was coming back, and I would put this in the act with the two of us. And he ended up moving back to Pittsburgh, so I became a ventriloquist. But I always thought it would be really funny to have two guys sit there, and you try not to let the audience know which one the ventriloquist is. Like he sits between the two of you, and you both talk to him, and the other guy has to act like he moves his lips a little bit. You know what I mean? He has to do all the moves too, so you never know. But I don't. It seemed like a funny idea, but I never got to do that. We used to do ventriloquism, though, the two of us, because he was a big guy. We did Laurel and Hardy together, and at that time I was smaller yet, thinner yet, and he could just pick me up. Say when they were to introduce us, here they are, Rumba and Low, and I wore like one of those little hats like Donald Duck wears, like a navy hat off to one side, and just work. When they first, for a few seconds, they would think like, wow, that dummy looks good, looks like a regular person almost, and then they would realize that it was him carrying me up, and he would put his leg up on, like a ventriloquist used to do all the time, put his foot up on something, and then I would sit on his leg, and we would talk. But he would lay me on the ground and say, and adjust the microphone, and then say, oh, as a ventriloquist, I have to take a drink of water before I start. And he would take the water. And by that time, I had held water in my mouth for like that whole time. So he would take the water, and then I would spit the water out. That was like probably the best joke we had. But anyway, so that's really how it started, was then when he left, I became a ventriloquist, and I didn't have an act, but I could do impressions. So I used to do impressions, and then I had one of those little Pelham puppets. I think I still got one back here. And then he would sit in my lap and insult me and tell me, do something better, that sucked, or whatever. I was working in clubs, so it seemed to work.